weeks ago, Xbox basically announced this thing where they were going to up the price of Xbox Game Pass. And ever since they got millions and millions of dollars of backlash, essentially, they canceled this out. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically, when they announced that they were going to increase Game Pass, from my understanding, hundreds of thousands of people instantly canceled it, which coming out to $15 to $30 a month would put you at a couple $1 million basically down the drain in month one, essentially. And obviously, Xbox or Microsoft didn't like this, so they said, "Oh, guys, we were just kidding. It was just a joke. Shiver me timbers." And it was just so kind of cringe the way that they've done it, and it's something that we've talked about a lot in the past, where a lot of these companies, not including Xbox, but game companies, Microsoft, PlayStation, whatever it is, have kind of almost stepped into the point of greed instead of the point of, hey, yeah, we're making good profit and we're chilling. They are stepping into a point where people don't really want to support them anymore. And this goes for a lot of things. This is why I am a big, firm believer that Xbox, in the course of making their next gen, is going to be a completely obsolete console. And I think a lot of people don't think about that too much, right? When you are already paying $500 for a console, the only way to upgrade it from there is to probably go from 500, that 500, 600 range to being 800, to being 1,000, to, being basically the next step and the next step and the next step until eventually you are so pricey that you match a PC. And that's what a lot of people already kind of fear is why would you get a Xbox or a console in general over a PC? And I'm not going to sit here and be like this one's better, that one's better, because in general there is a lot of things that are Xbox exclusive that you will never play on PC. I mean, one of my favorite games ever created is on Xbox, and it's called Vikings. Absolutely beautiful game, and I have never seen that game on PC ever. And the same thing goes for PlayStation is there is games on there that are one of a kind. And they also bring the benefit of being a little bit more casual, right? Because since they're less expensive, you don't have to learn how to do maintenance, you don't have to learn how to update things. So all you have to do is basically log in, update your game, and call it a day. But the thing is people aren't dumb either, right? That's the massive thing is people aren't dumb as the companies think. Yeah, like yes, they are willing to spend a $500 on a Xbox because it's casual. But when you get into the point of, hey, you're gonna have to spend $500 on Xbox, and now you're gonna have to spend $60 to use your own internet on the Xbox, and then you're gonna have to spend a extra $360 a year to use the Game Pass for Xbox. You get to this level where it's just like, why am I even paying for this at this point? By the time you paid for everything throughout an entire year, like let's say you bought an Xbox today and you paid for Game Pass through the entire year and you paid for online throughout the entire year at the same time, you would eventually basically get to the point where you could just afford a computer. And then it just comes down to like, well, why aren't you getting a computer, right? And like I said, I'm not saying one is better than the other. This is just me pointing out some kind of obvious little facts here. And I just think it's so unbelievably funny at like how they backtrack so fast. Because when Game Pass originally came out, Game Pass was like $10 when it originally came out. There was no Ultimate, there was no nothing. It was just here is your Game Pass, and that's it, right? You would literally just be able to play like a couple games, and it was usually like games that were dying off, games that are exclusives specifically. So like Sea of Thieves for a long time, since it was a Microsoft exclusive and an Xbox exclusive, they put it on Game Pass because a lot of people weren't going to buy it outside of that. So this kind of went into obviously they greeted, they wanted more money, and people just don't use Game Pass the way that I think they believe people do. And I think it just comes down to really being that simple, right? Because you'd be paying for Ultimate Game Pass, which here we'll zoom in here. So Ultimate Game Pass comes with 75 plus day one games of the year, including all Xbox published games day one. Ubisoft, which just don't even worry about that. Ubisoft and the EA classics, unlimited cloud gaming at our best quality with the shortest wait time, and game benefits including Riot games, online console, multiplayer. So now, obviously, you can just pay for the base one to get online console multiplayer, which is still $10 a month, still putting you at $120 a year for basically unlocking some basic games and some basic benefits. But it feels almost like the base one, at least in my opinion, if I was still playing console, it isn't even worth it anymore. Unlimited cloud gaming, in-game benefits including for Riot Games, online console and multiplayer. Play it and earn up to $25 a year in store with rewards. That is terrible. This is basically they just took Xbox Live and they made it $10 a month. That's all base is. And then in the middle ground, it's like you basically this is like OG Game Pass is what premium is, right? It's the OG Game Pass. You get some games on release, you get online, you get in-game benefits, you get unlimited storage, and you basically get more rewards like overall. And then the Ultimate Edition is like, yeah, you get all these games, but how many games are you playing out of these? And don't get me wrong, there is some achievement hunters out there, and I think this is great for achievement hunters because it makes it where you're not going to have to buy all of these games, and that's amazing for them. But most average people are not achievement hunters. Most average people are only playing a couple games a year. So if we look, this is apparently all of the games that you essentially get if you are on Game Pass. And then this is essentials. So this is City Skylines, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Hades, and Warhammer 40K Dark Tide is your base package now. They don't even include like their exclusives like Sea of Thieves or anything else on there anymore. They're just these. Like you think they would put like Halo, put like the new Halo, put Sea of Thieves, and then like maybe the new Call of Duty. That's what I would make the essentials because if you did that, then it would still be worth at least buying the base one. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to make it where it's good for the community anymore, like how it used to be. They want to make it where they make as much money as possible. So yeah, you get all these games, and let's be honest here, most people are playing. Like, let's say you're a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Chronicle China. I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Chronicle India. I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Revelations. I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. I'm not playing Syndicate. I'm not playing Ezio Collection. I'm not playing Creed Unity. Like most people, especially in series like this, have one game that they like. Like this just seems like such a L. But like that's the best way I can put it. It seems like such a fat L for console, like just in general. And you might be asking why did I wait a couple weeks on this? It's because I wanted to see what the response would be. Like genuinely, I didn't want to make a video and be like, oh well, according to my calculations, they decided to change this, and then a bunch of people canceled. I didn't want the video to just be that, right? I want to talk about how like greedy and how like dumb they kind of are at the same time where you get this sensation where they're like, yeah, $30 guys, which is $360 a year, and then it goes from yeah guys $30 a month to whoa, we were kidding, we didn't know that you guys actually value your money, uh, please don't hurt me, and that's just kind of what it feels like to me. They instantly lost millions of dollars and they basically backtracked instantaneously. And obviously, objectively, you can look at it and be like, well, that's just kind of good company model, right? But let's be honest, that's not how they're looking at it. They're looking at they lost millions of dollars because a bunch of people canceled their Xbox Game Pass. Uh, and then obviously people auto renewed it. And I think that's kind of one of the things that sucks is console, especially from someone who played Xbox for so long, it kind of almost entraps its players. And it might sound weird saying it like that, but when you play a console, it almost entraps you onto that console. And I think that's something that people don't think about when it comes to, like, let's say PC gaming or Nintendo Switch or something like that, is you're not exactly trapped on that console, right? Like even Nintendo Switch, you're only playing Nintendo Switch for the exclusives. But like, let's say you wanted to go play Fortnite on a different system, you easily could still, right? But with Xbox, they kind of do this thing where they're constantly taking money from you to the point where you'll never be able to actually get a computer and then just get the game on a computer. And I think a beautiful thing about computers, just in general, and I know it kind of sounds like I'm glazing them a little bit. I'm not trying to, but let's say my computer breaks tomorrow. All of this shuts down. I can't use it anymore. It's done. Well, guess what? Whenever I can save up for a new computer, all my games are still there. All my accounts are still there. All, like, everything is still there. But let's say like your Xbox or your PlayStation or your Nintendo updates and they don't have backwards compatibility for a game, or they don't update a game to that new system, you just can't play that game anymore. And I always felt like that was so disgusting when I came to when it came to like me playing console. Was when I played the OG Xbox and then I played the Xbox 360, they only had a few games backwards compatible, and then when they got to the Xbox One, there was even fewer games that you couldn't play anymore that I thought were like actual peak gaming. Like I said, like the game like Vikings, or there was a game called like Thieves. Like there was so many really 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 good games, or the games like the Fable games that I don't even think they remaster the Fable games, and those are probably in my top 10 series of all time when it comes to console gaming. And I think that's something that a lot of people maybe don't look at a lot of the time because there's so many new gen stuff coming out. But how much do you lose every single time a console gets updated compared to how much you would lose if you were on anything else? I think that's something I kind of respect about Nintendo, is they do try to make things backwards compatible for the most part. For almost every single game, they try to basically always make it where you can play previous games. But yeah, that's all I really want to rant about today. Was just, I mean, Xbox as overall, consoles as an overall, because I think there's just an era or an age where consoles are going to be obsolete. Not saying that it's going to happen today, tomorrow, next year, the year after that. I just think there's going to become an age where it does become obsolete because people will realize how much they lose every time they want to make more money. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and have a wonderful night. Peace.